Welcome to Arts 8 Lesson 2. Today's topic is about the fabric design of Thailand, Cambodia, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore. Our learning competency is to reflect on and derive the mood, idea, or message from selected artifacts and art objects. Here's our objectives for today. At the end of the lesson, the students should be able to appreciate the different fabric design of some countries in Southeast Asia and create own event wheel by following the instructional video for making event wheel. Let's have first our pretest. Match the fabric design terms with the given information. You have 5 seconds to answer. Let's start. Here are the choices for each item. A. Produced from the cocoons of silkworms. B. Done by welding together strips of metal to form a metal block. C. Type of batik where the artist uses canteen. D. To create patterns and weavers tie and dye portions of webbed yarn before weaving begins. And E. Yield single or two colored fabrics to create two different colors on both sides. Let's start with number 1, an even twill. Ready? You have 5 seconds. Time is up and your answer is? That is letter E. An even twill yields single or two colored fabrics to create two different colors on both sides. Are you ready with the next item? Let's have number 2. Ikat technique. You have 5 seconds. Time is up and your answer is? That is D. Ikat technique is to create patterns and weavers tie and dye portions of webbed yarn before weaving begins. Shall we have the next item? Let's have number 3. Hand-painted batik. You have 5 seconds. Time is up and your answer is? That is letter C. Hand-painted batik is a type of batik where the artist uses canteen. Let's have number 4. Black printed. Ready? You have 5 seconds. Time is up and your answer is? That is B. Black printed is done by welding together strips of metal to form a metal block. And our last item, number 5. Thai silk. Ready? You have 5 seconds. Time is up and your answer is? That is correct. That is A. Thai silk produced from cocoons of silkworms. How much score did you get? Did you get 5? Perfect score? 4? 3? If you got low score, that is fine because this is only a pre-test. Now let's move on to review time. For our recap, you have to define the given words on each item. You have 5 seconds to think of an answer. Start. Here are the words that you need to describe on this test. 1. Art. 2. Shape. 3. Movement. 4. Contrast. 5. Balance. Are you ready? Let's start with art. You have 5 seconds. Time is up and your answer is? Art is a process of arranging items in ways that influence and affect one or more sense, emotion, and intellect. Are you ready with the next item? Let's have number 2. Shape. You have 5 seconds. Time is up and your answer is? Shape has always 2 dimensions, length as well as width. That is shape. Now let's have number 3. Ready? You have 5 seconds. Time is up, and your answer is movement is how the eye moves through the composition, leading the attention of the viewers from one aspect of the work to another. Shall we have the next item? Let's have number 4, contrast. You have 5 seconds. Time is up. Contrast is, it is an arrangement of opposite elements in a composition so as to create visual interest. Let's have number 5, our last item, balance. Ready? You have 5 seconds. Time is up, and your answer is? That is correct. Balance is a distribution of visual weight on either side of a vertical axis. Here are the definitions of the words that we discussed on last lesson. Let's learn more about Southeast Asia. Let's discuss fabric design of Southeast Asia. Let's start first with Thailand. Thailand is very famous with Thai silk, and these are produced in Korat. This is the center of silk industry in Thailand. Thai silk making is very unique in patterns and colors. The weavers make sure that the silkworm, or Bombyx mori, has steady diet of mulberry leaves before it spins a silk of cocoons to create a silk fiber. That is Thai silk of Thailand. Let's have Cambodia. Cambodia is well known with ikat technique. It is also called kongket. To create ikat technique, weavers create patterns by tying and dyeing a portion of reft yarn or old rubber bicycle tubes cut into strips before weaving begins. The patterns and motifs of ikat technique differ within the region. That includes lattice, star, and spots. They also have an even twill. When we say twill, it is a woven fabric that has a surface of diagonal parallel ridges. To create an even twill, it needs to yield to single or two color fabrics, which is created by weaving 3 strings so that the color of one string overwhelms on one side of the texture, whereas the 2 others decide the color on the other side. That's ikat technique and an even twill of Cambodia. Let's have our last fabric. We have it from Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore. With these countries, they are very common with batik. And this word is derived from the word titik, which means point, dot, or drop. It has 2 categories. We have geometric and freeform. When we say geometric, these are the common shapes, like circles and triangles. While freeform, it doesn't use common shapes. Like for example, this design. Batik has 2 main types. We have hand-painted and black-printed. Hand-painted is where the artist uses the canteen. Canteen is a small copper container with 1 or more different size pipes. While black-printed is done by welding together strips of metal to form a metal block. Example of hand-painted is this picture. For black-printed, this one. Now we're done with our discussion. Let's move on to our activity. Today we'll be making even twill. You'll be needing scissors, colored papers, cardstock, and tape. Here's our rubric. You can get the highest score if you'll follow the direction correctly, if your output is very creative and tidy, and if your pattern of Southeast Asian design is well defined and used from beginning to end. That's our rubric. You need to watch the video carefully to follow the steps. For the strips, you need to make sure it's a 1/2 inch in measure. Once done cutting your strips, you need to lay it down on the cardboard stock. And after, tape it. Once your strips are secured, you can start weaving. Once you're done weaving, you can cut the ends. And you're done. Now don't forget to put your output on your portfolio. Our next activity is to create an essay about the similarities and differences between the techniques used by the nations of Southeast Asia on fabric weaving. Please put your answer on your notebook and do this at the end of the lesson. Next is to answer this question. Number 1. In your opinion, did the fabric design have an impact on the betterment of the lives of the people in Southeast Asia? Explain your answer. And number 2, as with Thailand and Cambodia where the fabric weaving is an old tradition, can you cite a place in the Philippines where this same tradition is still prevalent or still existing? Please put your answer on your notebook. You can do this at the end of the lesson. Now let's have our quick check. Direction: write true if the statement is correct and false if the statement is incorrect. You have 5 seconds to answer each item. Let's start. Number 1. Cambodia silk is produced from the cocoons of Thai silkworms. True or false? You have 5 seconds. Time is up and your answer is? That is false because it should be Thailand. Number 2. Ikat technique is to create patterns, weavers, tie and dye portions of weft yarn before weaving begins. Is it true or false? You have 5 seconds. Time is up and your answer is? You are correct. That is true. Are you ready with the next item? Let's have number 3. An even twill yields single or two color fabrics which are produced by weaving one thread so that the color of one thread dominates on one side of the fabric. Is it true or false? You have 5 seconds. Time is up and your answer is? That is correct. False. It should be 3 threads. Let's have number 4. Are you ready? Black printed batik is done by welding together strips of metal to form a metal block. True or false? You have 5 seconds. Time is up and your answer is? You are correct. That is true. Now let's have our last item, number 5. Are you ready? Hand-painted batik is a type of batik where the artist uses a canteen. True or false? You have 5 seconds. Time is up and your answer is? That is true. What score did you get? Did you get 5, 4, or the passing score 3? If you got a low score, that is fine, as long as you have given your best. That is all we have for today. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Thank you and have a good day. Bye!